I grew up near the Tallvine Forest, the kind of place people warned you about without ever explaining why. Trees packed too close, sunlight barely touching the ground, sounds always feeling a second too late. My name is Rilo Mercer, and for most of my life, the forest was just a background. Something you drove past, something you didn't think about. That changed the night my little brother Evanric went missing. We were camping on the edge of Tallvine, just the two of us trying to fix a broken relationship after years of distance. The fire was low, the forest was quiet in a way that felt wrong. No insects, no wind, just stillness. Evanric got up to pee. He took the flashlight and laughed when I told him not to wander. "I'm not a kid," he said. 5 minutes passed, then 10. I called his name. No answer. I stood, heart racing, and shouted again. That's when I heard his voice come from the trees behind me. "Rilo?" It sounded exactly like him. Same tone, same tired laugh at the end, but it came from deeper in the forest, farther than he could have walked that fast. My stomach dropped. Before I could answer, another voice called from the opposite direction. "Rilo, I'm right here." Two voices. Same brother, same name, different places. I froze. Every instinct screamed not to answer. The forest seemed to lean in, waiting. Then I remembered something our grandfather used to say before he died. If something in the woods knows your name, don't help it learn your voice. I backed toward the fire, keeping my mouth shut. The voices kept calling, getting more annoyed, less human. One laughed too long. One cried too suddenly. I grabbed the truck keys and ran. I didn't look back. I left Evanric out there. That truth still crushes my chest every time I breathe. Search teams never found him. Nobody. No tracks. Just one strange detail everyone avoided talking about. Multiple hikers reported hearing Evanric's voice for weeks after he vanished, calling names, asking for help, sounding scared. The forest never gave him back, but it didn't let him go either. And 3 months later, it started calling me again. The call came from my phone voicemail, a single message, static, breathing. Then Evanric whispered, "Rilo." It learned my voice. Now it wants yours. I replayed the voicemail until my hands shook. The timestamp said it was sent from a tower near Tallvine Forest. That shouldn't have been possible. Evanric's phone had been found smashed near the campsite weeks after he vanished. The battery was dead. The SIM card is missing. I drove back to Tallvine that same night, telling myself I needed closure, knowing deep down I was answering something I shouldn't. The forest looked the same as always, dark, crowded, and alive in the wrong way. I parked near the old ranger gate and stepped out. The air felt thicker, like sound had trouble moving through it. I heard my name almost immediately. Not loud, not close, just enough to make me turn my head. "Rilo." It came from everywhere and nowhere, slipping between trees. I shouted back before I could stop myself. The sound echoed strangely, bending as if the forest tasted it. Silence followed, then footsteps. Too many. Moving in circles around me. None of them break twigs. None of them are breathing. I realized then that it didn't need a body to move. It moved through sound. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from an unknown number. "Why did you leave me?" I dropped the phone. Another buzz. "I called you. You heard me." The words felt heavy, like guilt pressing down. My brother's voice whispered from behind my ear, warm and familiar. I was scared. I spun around. No one there. Just trees leaning too close. I remembered the rule again. Don't give it your voice. Don't respond. But grief is louder than fear. I whispered his name. The forest inhaled. Everything changed after that. The woods woke up. Leaves rustled without wind. Shadows shifted in the wrong direction. My phone lit up with missed calls from my own number, from Evanric's, from names I didn't recognize but somehow felt personal. The thing was collecting voices, not copying them, wearing them. I ran back to my truck, but the path was longer than before. Trees rearranged themselves subtly, guiding me deeper. I realized Tallvine wasn't trapping me physically. It was waiting for me to answer one more time. As I stumbled through the dark, Evanrick's voice changed. It stopped sounding scared. "You left me," it said flatly. "You owe us." Us. Plural. The forest echoed with overlapping voices, now men, women, children, all stitched together. I reached the truck just as something whispered directly into my ear with my own voice. "Now we know how you sound." I didn't stop driving until the forest was miles behind me. Even then, I kept checking the rearview mirror, half expecting trees to be growing out of the road. When I finally got home, the silence inside my apartment felt wrong. Too clean, too empty, like it was waiting. I locked the door and turned on every light. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a voice message from Mom. She'd been dead for 6 years. "Rilo, call me back," she said gently. My knees gave out. I dropped onto the couch, hands shaking. The number wasn't hers. It wasn't anyone's, just zeros. The forest hadn't followed me physically. It had followed me through sound. Over the next few days, it got worse. Co-workers said I was calling them late at night, whispering their names. My boss played me a voicemail where I was begging not to be ignored, my voice cracking, scared. I'd never made the call. The thing had learned how to use me. I unplugged my phone, shut off my laptop, even pulled the smoke alarm from the ceiling when it started speaking in Evanrick's voice at 3 in the morning. "Come back," it said. "We're lonely." Sleep became dangerous. Every dream turned into a forest. Every sound became a voice I recognized. I woke one night to hear footsteps pacing outside my bedroom door, humming a tune Evanrick used to hum when he was nervous. I held my breath. The doorknob twisted slowly. "Rilo?" my own voice asked. "I know you're awake." I stayed silent until the sound faded, retreating down a hallway that didn't exist. The police stopped taking my calls. They said I kept reporting false emergencies. One officer played a recording for me of my voice, calm and clear, saying everything was fine and I was just confused. The forest was erasing my credibility, isolating me the same way it had isolated Evanrick. I realized then what it did with the people it took. It didn't kill them, it spread them out, turned them into echoes that could be worn when needed. That night, my phone turned itself back on. A single call came through. Evanrick calling. I didn't answer. I watched the screen vibrate until it stopped. A new voicemail appeared instantly. "I'm not asking anymore," Evanrick's voice said, cold and flat. "We're coming to get you." I learned the first rule by accident. The voices couldn't speak if I didn't. One night, exhausted and shaking, I sat on the floor and refused to make a sound. No breathing loud enough to hear. No words, no whispers. Minutes passed, then hours. The apartment stayed quiet. For the first time in days, nothing called my name. When I finally coughed, the hallway filled with voices instantly, overlapping and angry. That's when I understood. The forest needed a response. It needed sound to grow from. Silence starved it. I quit my job and stopped answering everyone. People thought I was grieving. They weren't wrong. I taped notes to my walls so I wouldn't forget to respond. Don't read messages out loud. Don't say their names. I wore headphones constantly, playing white noise to drown out whispers. Still, the thing adapted. It started using sounds that didn't need my reply. Doors knocking, phones ringing, alarms screaming. Each noise is designed to force a reaction. It wanted my voice the way a fire wants oxygen. One afternoon, my neighbor knocked on my door. I didn't answer. Through the woods, I heard Evanrick's voice begging her to help me. I pressed my hands over my mouth to stop myself from screaming. She knocked harder, then stopped suddenly. Her footsteps walked away, wrong, too slow, too even. That night, the knocking came from inside my walls. I bit my tongue until I tasted blood. Pain was quieter than fear. The forest sent me one last message, written this time. A letter slid under my door in handwriting I recognized as my own. "You can't stay quiet forever." Everyone speaks eventually. I burned the letter in my sink and watched the smoke curl like it was listening. I realized then that the forest didn't just want my voice. It wanted to add me to itself, to stretch me thin across trees, phones, walls, and memories. I packed a bag and drove west, away from Tallvine. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't say goodbye. As I crossed state lines, the voices faded, but they didn't vanish. They waited. Silence had bought me time, not safety. And somewhere behind me, in a forest that remembered how I sounded, something patient was learning how to listen without ears. I settled in a desert town where sound died quickly, wind instead of trees, open space instead of shadows. For a while it worked. Weeks passed without hearing my name. I almost believed I'd escaped. Then one morning the radio turned on by itself while I was showering. Static filled the bathroom, followed by a familiar hum. Evanrich's hum. The same nervous tune. I shut the water off and stood there, dripping, frozen. The radio clicked silent again, like it hadn't done anything wrong. That was when I understood the forest hadn't chased me. It followed slowly, learning new places, new ways to speak. The voices returned in pieces. A cashier greeted me with my own voice. A stranger on the street said my name without looking at me. None of them reacted when I stared too long. They didn't remember speaking. They were just conduits. I stopped going out. Silence wasn't protection anymore. It had learned how to speak without me. The thing wasn't a forest. Tallvine had just been where it lived first. It was something older, something that traveled through attention, through recognition. One night I woke to breathing beside my bed. Not loud, practiced, patient. "You don't have to be alone," Evanrich whispered. I squeezed my eyes shut. My heart was hammered. The bed dipped slightly, like someone sitting down. "We're everywhere now," it said, layered with dozens of voices. "All you have to do is answer." I realized then what it was offering. Not death, not even a replacement. Absorption. To be spread thin enough that fear and guilt would finally stop hurting. I almost gave in. Silence is heavy when you carry it alone for too long. I thought about how tired I was, how easy it would be to let go. Then I remembered Evanrich laughing by the fire. Real laughter. Imperfect. Humans. I forced myself to speak, but not to them. I spoke to myself. I said my name out loud, steady and firm. The breathing stopped. The bed lifted. The room felt empty again. That's when it screamed, not in my ears but in my head, rage and hunger twisting together. I hadn't expected that. It didn't want my voice, it wanted my permission, and for the first time since Tallvine, I felt like maybe, just maybe, it could still be denied. After that night, the rules changed again. The voices didn't disappear, but they lost their confidence. They no longer spoke over each other. They tested me instead, sending one sound at a time, waiting to see if I would react. A door closing when I hadn't touched it. Footsteps stopping just outside my window. A phone ringing once and then going dead. I realized something important. The thing didn't just steal voices. It stole attention. Every time someone reacted, grief or recognition, it fed. Tallvine Forest wasn't special because of its trees. It was special because of how many people had listened. I started changing how I lived. When a voice called my name, I didn't freeze. I didn't run. I acknowledged myself instead, quietly, calmly. I'd say, "I hear me," and nothing else. The voices would stutter, overlapping in confusion, unable to find a place to attach. They couldn't mimic that certainty. They needed doubt. I needed permission to define me. Evanrich's voice came back one evening, softer than before. "I'm tired," it said. That almost broke me. But I remembered my brother had never begged like that. This thing learned emotion, but not history. The dreams changed too. Instead of the forest, I saw open fields filled with whispers trapped in the air like insects. Faces formed and dissolved, unable to stay solid. They weren't people anymore. They were fragments, pieces of attention that had nowhere to go. I woke up knowing the truth I'd been avoiding. The thing didn't kill Evanrich. It scattered him, spread his voice thin across itself until there wasn't enough left to be whole. That guilt would always stay with me, but it didn't own me anymore. One night the voices tried one last time. They came together clean and clear, speaking as Evanric exactly as he had been by the fire years ago. "Oh, Rilo," he said, laughing softly. "I forgive you." I cried then, real tears, quiet ones, and I answered not the voice, but the memory. "I forgive myself," I whispered. The room shook like something had lost its grip. The air went still. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of choice, full of space. I knew the thing wasn't gone forever. Creatures like that don't die. They starve. They shrink. They wait for people who need answers outside themselves. But I also knew something else now. As long as I knew who I was, it couldn't speak for me. I still hear stories about Tallvine. People online talk about a forest where voices follow you home, where phones ring with numbers that don't exist, where someone you love sounds close but never appears. I never comment. I never correct them. Some lessons don't survive explanation. I moved again, farther this time, to a place where the nights are loud with ordinary life traffic. Dogs barking, people arguing, laughter spilling out of bars. Real noise, human noise. It helps drown out the memory of something that learned how to listen too well. I talk to myself sometimes, not in fear, not in desperation, just reminders. I say my name out loud in the morning. I say what I feel, what I regret, what I forgive. The voices never interrupt anymore. They don't compete, they don't echo. It's like speaking a language they were never meant to understand. Evanric still lives with me in small ways, in habits, in jokes I catch myself making, in quiet moments by firelight. But his voice belongs to memory now, not the dark. I know the thing still exists. It has to. Creatures like that don't vanish. They move on. They find new places where people listen too closely to their grief, their fear, their need to hear someone answer back. It doesn't call my name anymore because it knows it won't be answered. Silence didn't save me. Understanding did. Knowing the difference between a voice that belongs to you and one that wants to own you. If you ever find yourself in a quiet place and hear someone you love calling you from somewhere they shouldn't be, remember this: love doesn't demand your voice. It doesn't punish you for staying silent, and it doesn't need permission to be real. Whatever answers from the dark is not what you lost. It's something that I want to take more. The forest doesn't say my name anymore, and I don't go looking for echoes. Some things survive by being heard, others survive by being remembered, and I choose which one I feed.